11th, 2019. The meeting notice has been posted on school bulletin boards at the Board of Education building, communicated to at least one of the borough designated newspapers, and 3 filed with the Borough Clerk of Palisades Park. Roll call, please.
Thomas Matarazzo.
Here.
Stephanie Jang. Here. Jason Kim. Rebecca Lee. Here. John Madison.
Here.
Yuen Min. Here. Barnabas Will.
Here.
Jeffrey Will. Timothy Yang. Dr. Cirillo.
Here.
Angela Spazeski. Here. Matthew Petracca.
Here. Thank you. Report of the superintendent, Dr. Cirillo.
Sure. A few items if you can bear with me tonight. Although this is not our final meeting of the month of June, this is a very important meeting prior to high school graduation, Lindbergh graduation, and the Early Childhood Center kindergarten promotion ceremonies tomorrow. So we'll start with that. We are closely monitoring the weather for high school graduation specifically. That currently is scheduled for 6 p.m. Friday night at the Overpeck County Park in Palisades Park. We have a contingency plan to be indoors in the event weather changes our plans. Lindbergh Elementary School is scheduled for tomorrow evening at the junior senior high school. And tomorrow morning we begin our kindergarten ceremonies. So again, I thank everyone for their hard work. Second, this is extremely important, and I know last month when we met regarding the referendum, there were many questions, there was much concern. Since then, I will bring you up to speed. There has been more communication with the mayor, the borough administrator, with members of this board, with the business administrator and myself. In addition, we have met with the chief financial officer. We are meeting with the auditor next week to discuss how much the impact is on the taxpayers. I am not at liberty to share a number like I thought I would be tonight, but what I can tell you is renovations are very likely to happen and be part of the referendum. We all know that we want to improve our schools. That comes with improving the facilities. Third on the list for tonight. Dr. Matarazzo and I have the pleasure of attending many functions. One of them really stood out a few weeks ago. We were at a spring sports function, and I've seen for 16 years in this community some great things happen. And then you see someone of high character present one of her colleagues, one of her friends, with an award, with a medal, from her neck to a classmate, to a colleague. Leslie Careau is here, her mom is here. Please stand for a minute. The reason I asked Leslie to be here, if nothing else, wasn't to embarrass her in front of a big audience, but was to recognize her, because more people like Leslie should be a part of what she did for another young man who could not medal. I wish everyone had the opportunity to see what she did that night. It was inspiring, it was uplifting, and really, Mom, you should be proud. It's an emotional night for you, I'm sure, to know that your young lady is ready to go on to the next phase. We're very happy to have her share that with another student of ours. Thank you, Leslie. In the front row. In the front row is one of our other shining stars, and she has done 1,000,001 different things, but Clara Kim, who will be attending Princeton University in the fall, is here. She is our valedictorian, and I asked Clara to join us. I asked Clara to join us to publicly thank her for her hard work, because she inspires others in her class, in her school. We've had kids go to Princeton, Harvard, Tufts, Yale. We've had kids go to different universities, but the fact that, again, small little Palisades Park has students of your caliber, and I know you will do great things. We constantly are in touch via email and other endeavors that you still want to start, even while you're gone. I commend you, I congratulate you, and wish you the very best of luck. Thank you to your mom as well. With regard to the referendum, a committee was formed at the last meeting. There will be another meeting on Monday evening. There are some flyers that will be circulated. I am assuming majority of the crowd here is faculty, but there are some residents. If you can join us on Monday night at 6 p.m. at the junior senior high school. It was brought to my attention that the borough has a nixle, which 6 p.m. at the junior, senior high school Monday evening. I think it's imperative that as a community we work together. We definitely know what improvements are needed. The referendum committee, I thank everyone who volunteered. We will be in touch very soon. And again, I thank you for volunteering your time. And finally, there are some people in the audience, but before I publicly mention them, I think we should move on with the board motions.
Thank you, Dr. Cirillo. I congratulate Clara. Phenomenal congratulations on behalf of the Palisades Park Board of Education. And Leslie, I can honestly tell you that how proud I was. I mean, you got the award that night and you turned it over to someone maybe that did not reach what you did, and I applaud you on behalf of this Board of Education. Thank you for doing what you did. That was a true champion. Thank you. Okay, now we're getting to the report of the attorney.
I would just like to mention to the board that there's no discussion regarding personnel on the agenda tonight. I understand there were discussions and/or possible rumors on social media regarding personnel. As of this point, there's nothing to be discussed by the board, nor was anything planned to be discussed regarding personnel tonight. I understand members of the public may wish to address personnel topics during the open public session, but no, there's nothing on the agenda concerning personnel tonight.
That's fine.
The board must not comment regarding personnel, as it is legally required that topics of personnel remain confidential upon notice to any individuals who may be mentioned. Therefore, I suggest that the board and the superintendent not respond to personnel topics or issues that may be posed. Other than that, that's all I have to say to the board tonight.
Okay. Thank you very much. Committee reports, Mr. Matisich, Finance.
Before you, you have 11 resolutions. I went over them this afternoon with Dr. Cirillo and Angela, Miss Angela, and they all seem to be okay, so I move on the consent agenda on all 11 of them.
Second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Tom Matarazzo?
Yes.
Stephanie Jang? Yes. Did Jason? No? Yes. Yes?
She said yes.
No, Jason.
No, Jason's not here.
Rebecca Lee?
Yes.
John Madison?
Yes.
Yun Min?
Here.
Barnabas Rowe?
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yeah, there's 6 of us.
Okay, thank you. Next, Buildings and Grounds, Jason Kim, he's not here. I'd like to propose, there are 3 resolutions. Would anyone like to make a resolution on that?
I make a resolution on the 3 consent agenda.
Second on that?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Tom Matarazzo?
Yes.
Stephanie Jang?
Yes.
Rebecca Lee?
Yes.
John Madison?
Yes.
Yun Min?
Yes.
Barnabas Rowe?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Personnel, Jeffrey Wu, not here. Would someone like to entertain that motion on personnel?
I'll make the motion.
Second on
consent
that?
Agenda.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? And there are, how many motions are there?
So there's 11.
11. Okay, no discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Matarazzo?
Yes.
Stephanie Jang?
Yes.
Rebecca Lee?
Yes.
John Madison?
Yes.
Yun Min?
Yes.
And Barnabas Rowe?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Curriculum, there is no report. We'll go right on to negotiations. Stephanie Jang.
I have no report at this moment.
Thank you. Policy, Mrs. Jang.
Yeah, I have no report.
Okay. PTA, PTSA,
There is no report at this time.
thank you. And student activities, field trips,
There's no report at this time.
calendar, food services, Mr. Wu.
No report at this time.
Okay, any old business? New business? I believe there are 2 items under new business. is, where is that?
It's already done on something else.
Before you, you have two resolutions. I will read them. Be it resolved that the board, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, authorizes the affirmative action team to conduct a needs assessment for each school and develop a comprehensive equality plan. Second, equity plan. Can't read. Second is be it resolved that the board, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of the schools, authorizes the submission of a comprehensive equity plan to the county superintendent of schools. Do we have a second on that? Any discussion? If not, roll call, please. That was Rebecca.
Tom Matarazzo.
Yes.
Stephanie Jane.
Yes?
Rebecca Lee.
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Yulin Min. Yes. Barnabas Wolf.
Yes.
Before we go to audience, is it possible under new business to decide the next board meeting while we are here? Or would you like to poll the board? Since three members are not here.
I think we should poll the board. So Diane, can you take care of that?
Yes.
Great.
Before, one last thing, I apologize, but on Saturday, June 8th, at Bloomfield Middle School, we had representation from Lindbergh Elementary School take part in the Bloomfield Youth Band Farewell for the Summer. We had we had about 15 young adults perform. We had Mr. Dominic Zarro, we had Anna Mancini perform and do a great job. Kudos to all of them for giving up a Saturday of their lives to help our students perform. And again, I was told this was standing ovation, applause for all, and I thank them publicly. In addition, Autism Speaks, a $1,058 donation was given on behalf of the Lindbergh Elementary School, so I congratulate and commend that whole team. And one last thing, the Lindbergh Elementary School was also awarded a $1,000 grant from the Bergen County Utilities Authority. Continued success.
Very nice, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, audience participation. Yes, ma'am.
Kathy,
I'm sorry, please.
Motion.
Oh, I have a motion to go into audience participation.
I make a motion.
Second on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Kathy Doheny,
Yeah, please
co-president.
step up.
Kathy, before you go, I apologize. For the public's purposes also, and I know there are some young men in this room hoping to finally meet their next football coach during the personnel portion, now that it is approved, I would like to congratulate and introduce Mr. Thomas T.J. Cronky as our next football coach. We will be going to closed session, so if you young men want to meet up with Coach outside or in a classroom in a little while, that's perfectly fine. Mrs. Spafford, thank you for helping in the search. In addition, we have representation from Jewish Family Services, who was approved this evening as the aftercare provider moving forward, starting in September. Suad, I thank you for being here. If anyone has any questions, again, Suad would be your person to answer your concerns moving forward. I'm sorry, Kathy.
Kathy Doheny, co-president of the PPA. I have a number of questions regarding the Jewish Family Services. It was my understanding that they were going to give a presentation here and that we would have the opportunity to ask questions. But now that they're already voted on, what is the purpose of that?
So the-
I'm not so sure that,
So the
Like-
presentation is for the board's purposes, not necessarily for the teachers. The board has approved them. Dr. Matarazzo, myself, I believe Ms. Bongard, Ms. Vivanco have all met with them, and we strongly believe that this is the right decision for
so
the
you're,
district.
is this going to start on the very first day of school?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's no minimum amount of students that are required for your program?
There is minimum.
And what happens if that doesn't happen?
We still will, we work it out with the school district, knowing that it's the first year, that we will work with the school district in recruiting the teachers as well as aides and students to ramp up the program.
Yeah, I'm not saying that their program isn't wonderful. I have looked into it, but I have to be honest with you. I think that that is something that, not that you have to have our approval to make decisions on that, but I think it should have been something that was discussed with those people that already work there, and they were sort of blindsided. They didn't know anything about it.
This has
So-
been in the works for a few years. I don't know that it
Well, I have to
should
be honest with you,
I
then
don't
I'm
know
out
that
of
they
the
should be
loop.
blindsided.
Well, then I'm out of the loop because I never heard that it was even up for discussion. And we have a number of questions.
I'm happy to speak to you if you have questions, and I'm happy to answer any concerns that you have. I'm open to hearing you.
Okay, I have a whole list of questions, but I'm not gonna take up your time for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Name and address?
Cheryl Donahue, Palisades Park. Okay, we'd like to congratulate also the valedictorian and the track stars. That's wonderful, both of you. This actually goes along with it, okay? This year, Frank Donahue was inducted into the New Jersey State Coaches Hall of Fame. This is the first coach ever in the history of Palisade Park to receive this honor. Embarrassing to our family that other schools were represented by tables filled with school personnel. Frank paid over $500 for our family to attend. If not, he would have been sitting by himself. Even worse was the fact that the Board of Education never even recognized this outstanding achievement, either verbally nor a personal letter congratulating Frank. Shame on the board. That was an embarrassment and noted by other towns how disrespectful that the superintendent nor the Board of Ed did not attend this event. For the record, years ago, Frank won State Coach of the Year for Girls Cross Country. I believe it was in 2000. At that event also in Princeton on a Sunday, a table paid for by the Palisades Park Board of Education and attended by administrators and some board members. Kudos to that superintendent and that Board of Education. 4 times he won Bergen County Coach of the Year. Again, a table paid for by the Palisades Park Board of Education. These events were at the Fiesta. I truly believe with my heart that the reason why the superintendent and some members of the board did not attend nor recognize his achievement because it doesn't fit the narrative that you are attempting to portray that Frank isn't good enough. In addition, we just attended the Palisade Park Hall of Fame. Again, no one showed for this event, honoring our alumni. If you would have been there, you would have heard one inductee, Billy DeMarco, for instance, saying he's a teacher today because he was inspired by Frank Donahue. And other inductees had high praise as well. So kudos to those that did attend, and shame on those that did not.
Although I've been advised not to respond, for the record, and I appreciate the comments, I did have the pleasure working alongside Mr. Donahue in resurrecting the Hall of Fame to ensure that all of the alumni have the opportunity to be recognized, as well as your husband. I was not available last week. I unfortunately planned the program. I set up the whole ceremony. I ensured that it was a smooth evening. Unfortunately, again, I had a commitment that I could not be
He ran the
available for.
program. After you weren't there, he ran it, and he ran
Again,
it
I
admirably.
appreciate the fact that it's resurrected, and I'm glad it has taken off to where it's at today, and I'm sure I don't need to be a part of it anymore for it to be a success. So it's a compliment to this community that everyone has taken a part to recognize yesteryear, because again.
What about the State Coaches Hall of Fame? For those that don't know it, it is the absolute highest honor a coach can get presented to. He's the first coach in the history of Palisade Park ever to be awarded this honor. And there were people that came up to him, couldn't believe that he hadn't made it yet.
Is this
But
about him being a coach?
This was the New Jersey State
I know.
Coach Hall of
But
Fame.
you're right. You're
This is-
absolutely right. And
this is the
unfortunately,
top
my
honor.
family.
They don't get any higher than that.
Unfortunately, my family and I had a commitment, and I could not be there. I apologize, Mr. Donahue. I wish I could have been
It
there.
wasn't recognized at a meeting. There was no, the town council stood up, 3 people at least, I know Paul Kim, one of them, Mr. Chung and Mayor Chung and Cindy Pereira. I mean, the 3 council people stood up and they talked about how he is recognized in the school and respected in the school and how he won this award. And congratulations to him. But it was never responded by anyone sitting up here.
Or maybe just not yet.
And I too, on behalf of the Board of Ed, would like to congratulate you, Mr. Donahue. I did not even know about the dinner, but I do congratulate you and hope you continue. Excuse me, is everything all right? Yes. Sir? Okay. Yes, sir.
Hello, Paul Kim, Palisades Park, New Jersey. Dear respectable board members, foremost, thank you for allowing me to speak. I am here as a concerned resident and taxpayer, and I would like to declare that my statement is not a question to the superintendent and to the board members. It is merely my personal view that is shared and agreed among many who made it out here tonight to raise our concern. You may be legally constrained to discuss about it, but we are not, and it is your concern to listen to our comments and process it, and for that, I thank you all. Many of us have been hearing rumors, hearsay, that the superintendent and perhaps the board members are planning to rice notice all three principals to shuffle their positions simultaneously. Specifically, high school principal to be moved to Lindbergh, Lindbergh principal to ECC, and ECC to high school. 2 downgrades and 1 promotion. If this is true, or if this move is seriously considered, well, we firmly believe you guys have some explaining to do for the good people of Palisades Park who have voted for you to be where you are, to entrust you to make the logical yet conscious decision for our students. The good people expect detailed explanation before attempting such an extraordinary move that could adversely affect our school management in the grandest scale and potentially worsen the quality of our education for our students. If it were not planned with extreme scrutiny and meticulous execution. So many variables and factors come into play for this grand plan to be successful. Matter of fact, I feel it is very similar situation as a referendum you were proposing to do this year. Granted, I applaud you for recognizing the need for additional monetary funding for our school system. However, due to the inadequate procedure, planning, and execution, such as canceling public forums meetings to discuss the details, the referendum, which involves respectfully convincing the people to raise their taxes, I personally feel is now in a limbo between a realistic general public acceptance and just a grandiose idea without the details. Let's bring it back to the shuffle of the principals. What factors, variables, do you know that will determine the success in moving the positions? How did you guys come up with the order of shuffling, such as ECC to the high school? What does a board member want to accomplish with the shuffle? Is this for improving the management and education? Do you feel that principals are inadequate at their current position? Why do you think that shuffling positions is the most viable options available? Are the shuffled principals qualified and experienced to make the change? Have you considered the options to hire new principals instead of shuffling to improve the quality? How many years does the current principals have before retirement and benefits? What happens if more than one principal decides to retire simultaneously because of the shuffle? How does the principal feel about the move? Their state of mind is very crucial to the quality of their work. Have you provided guidance and opportunity through assessments with the principals for improvement? Most importantly, how does the student feel about it? Is it not a huge risk to shuffle all three principals simultaneously? And the question goes on,
Okay.
on and
I'm
on. In
sorry.
order, I have 3
I'm
minutes,
sorry.
sir. I
I'm
have 3
sorry.
minutes. You do not have to answer my question.
Okay, that was just 3 minutes, sir.
No.
Yep. No, that was 3 minutes, thank you.
Well, I do not know
Thank
who
you.
or when they came.
Okay.
Fruition.
Anyone
Bottom
else?
line is, guys, this is impossible. The people that are trying to shuffle is unqualified, is
All
unqualified.
right, Mr. Kim, that's
Okay,
it.
that's it.
Thank
Thank you very
No,
much.
it's true.
Okay.
ECC
Anyone else?
principal has no experience going to high school. No.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Mary's Paporer, 444 Glen Avenue. It's very nice to see a lot of people tonight here. I've been coming here for 3 years and I haven't seen all this public, but that's very nice that they come tonight. I hope we have all this public every night because we need this. We need this for a lot of more staff than what we come here tonight. Not me. I come to the meeting and just be part of the meeting. And tonight I see a lot of people that I never see come and support our school. Even for the referendum, we didn't see all these people understand that, the council member. We need to support more things for the kids because we all already growing up. We already all big person. We're not thinking about the kid that is really need more us to come here as a growing up person, as a faculty, as a person who care to support all the staff. There's so many topics that we discuss here at the meeting every month. And tonight I see a lot of people coming here just to attack. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else?
You're gonna make me come all the way over here, I will.
Always fighting.
Sure. It's probably part of my 3 minutes. So, Maria Alvarez, 534 4th Street, and obviously, I don't know if the board all know me. I know some of you know me. I have served on the Board of Education for 9 years. I sent an email to Dr. Cirillo because my son graduates on Friday, thank God. And I asked for the courtesy of allowing to present my child his diploma, as other districts have done. And I have a list of districts, but Fort Lee, Inglewood Cliffs, Riverdale, I know Board of Ed members there. I was told no, because Dr. Matarazzo didn't want to set the precedent of presenting, for a board member to present their child. Now, in the past, if you're on the board, that's not an issue. I'm a former board member, now it becomes an issue. I have spoken to Dr. Hayes, and he said that that is not true. It has been done previously. Someone even said that Dr. Matarazzo, when you stepped down, you presented to someone. I don't know if that's true or not, I don't remember.
No.
I want to say it was probably Angela Byrne, but Dr. Hayes gave me the name of Eileen? That was before my time. I know you know her because, but you've been on the board forever.
Not forever, but 35 years.
Elaine? But anyway, it is not. It's already been done before. Honestly, I said to Dr. Hayes, to Dr. Cirillo, I don't care at this point, but it's just the point that I feel that now I'm targeted, I'm discriminated against because other people have been allowed to do it and I am not. Next up on the agenda, my agenda is, I want to say that I've known Tony. My daughter has gone through this district and she's graduated. Jennifer Alvarez, she graduated in 13. Since kindergarten, she's been in this district. My son has been in this district since kindergarten. I've known Tony Bongard for at least 13, 14 years. She's an excellent principal and she's exactly where she belongs. So is Mr. Donahue and so is Jillian Vivianco. Moving all these principals around, I think it's a little bit asinine. That's all I have to say.
Any other, yes, sir?
Jeffrey Poole, 84 Brinkerhoff Terrace. Mr. Donahue is not only a principal to us as students, he is a role model and someone that we as students can turn to for advice in education, athletics, and life. He has been our principal for 4 years at the high school and our vice principal at Lindbergh before that. He has been able to keep our school system moving in the right direction. Teachers and students look up to him as he had had a career in education his entire life. He is respected and liked by the students and faculty for his leadership, and he is known for being able to calmly diffuse any situation that crosses his path. Beyond working in the school, he dedicates much of his time to the citizens of Palisades Park as a councilman for several years. Students admire Mr. Donahue because of his ability to talk to us about our education and our athletics. Mr. Donahue has an amazing rapport with the students, and it would be a crime to take him away from the students of Palisades Park High School.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Is it on? Oh, it's not even on. Perfect. Okay. My name is Maria Casantes. You all know who I am. I come as well to every meeting and know this many people are not always here. And it is a shame, including the referendum, because you should be advocating for, the most important thing is kids.
Yes.
All I hear at this meeting is about staff.
Yes.
I can tell you I'm an educator, 20 years. We get moved often because we are a bigger district where I work.
It is common practice. It is not personal. I trust our board members that there's needs in certain places, and they're doing this for a very good reason that they do not have to explain to us.
What?
As staff, I'm not gonna badmouth anybody, I'm just gonna state facts. As staff, you should all know that your first priority should be the kids, not where you're located.
Yes.
And I don't care where you work. I know that's how I feel. You can put me anywhere. I don't care who the child is, where they come from, what building I'm in. I'm working for the kids, not a patient, not a building, not anything. That should be the priority. And I do trust our board because I've been working with them as a parent and on the other side too, professionally. And I know what their goals are. And their kids are the priority. This is the first time I've lived here my entire life, I've seen kids finally become the priority. And I'm sorry that you staff are taking it personally, I don't know why.
Yes.
You should not, because you should be concerned about benefiting the kids. If you're good at your job, you can do it anywhere.
Yes.
And that is the truth. And I know all of you, and I don't see what the big issue is, because I think wherever you're placed, you'll be great. Maybe there's a need. Maybe sometimes we need to freshen things up or reset. It is not a demotion. They're all principals. What are they not qualified to do?
Excuse
All right,
me.
that's enough.
That's your personal opinion. You're not even qualified to make those decisions.
That's enough, Mr. Kim. Please, Mr. Kim.
You're attacking me as an audience member too? It's ridiculous. They are qualified. You're demeaning them by saying they're not. I'm up here telling you they can work anywhere. And that's what should matter. All of you can work anywhere. And you still have employment. A lot of people out there all the rice notices, for those of you who don't know because they had to read it online, is you're gonna be discussed. I get rice noticed every year for my summer employment. It's the law, we all have to be rice.
Thank you very much.
Yes, but I wasn't-
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Déjalo porque no lo agarre, deja que haga su show. Deja que haga su show, que sea lo que él haga. Es un nice
Jennifer
salami.
Alvarez, 534 4th Street, Palisades Park, New Jersey. And I would like to speak regarding the issue with the principals. Basically saying that I understand they're all principals, but with child psychology and dealing with the age levels, you can't be shuffling somebody who has so many years of experience at the high school, as a principal, as a teacher. He's had a lot of experience also at Limburg, so that's understandable. But moving from ECC, somebody who's only taught the high school level and has dealt